You're listening to the Travis Makes Money podcast presented by GoHighLevel.com. For a free 30-day trial of the best all-in-one digital marketing software tool on the planet, just go to GoHighLevel.com/Travis. What's going on, money makers? Welcome back to the Travis Makes Money podcast, where it's our mission to help you make more money. If you're new to the show, we release brand new conversations with unconventional money makers 7 days a week. So if you have not yet, please go to your podcast app of choice, including YouTube, to subscribe, follow the show there so you never miss an opportunity to learn how to make more money. Today on the show, we're talking about speaking with my new friend, Israel Duran. Israel's turns entrepreneurs into industry authorities who command five-figure speaking fees. His service of speaking framework has generated $2 million plus in 24 months by positioning experts on prestigious stages and high-ticket programs. Israel, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Travis, it's great to be here with you, man.
Let's go back in time, my friend, and tell me how you made your first dollar ever.
Man, that's back in the day, I would say selling candy.
There you go. Door to door or
Uh,
what?
yeah, selling candy to my siblings. But my first dollar in business, I would say it was selling financial coaching, really helping people understand the power of mindset. My first book I ever wrote was called Money Management Mindset because growing up, I grew up with the poverty mindset where there was always lack. You and I had a conversation earlier before we started to tape on the fact that there's people trying to save $12, $90. Like if you're really trying to save $12 to $90 is an issue, right? And for me, I had that mindset where I didn't really understand the mindset of money
Yeah.
and how there's a certain belief that we need to have like kind of ingrained in order to really start to even produce and keep what we produce.
Tell me how you made your most recent dollar now.
Yesterday, somebody wired me 50,000 for a really for me to do what I do now, helping people get famous through the service of speaking, helping them to get on stages, to amplify their message, to sell more of their vision, not just product and services, but their vision so they can grow. And yeah,
Yeah, I love that, dude. Let's get into the gap here. Bridge the gap for us between that first dollar made in business, selling, financial coaching, to doing the speaking stuff that you do now. What happened in the middle?
you see, I didn't understand what we call the four levels of value, the four levels of money. Money is a spiritual thing. So, what I used to believe is that if you just work harder, you'll make more money. But there was a problem with that because I saw a discrepancy with my mother and my bonus father, who were some of the hardest working people I've ever met, but they were always broke.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, this is not true. There has to be something that I'm missing here. And then I understood, wait a second, it's not if you work harder that you'll make money, it's if you work wiser that you'll make more money. And when you use your spiritual muscles to make more money. Now, let me explain it like this. If I were to say to somebody right now, I want you to go out there and I want you to mine gold, what are they going to need to do? They're going to need to use tools that can mine gold. But if they're trying to mine gold with other tools that aren't for gold, they're not going to mine a lot of gold, right? It's the same thing with trying to work hard to make money. See, money doesn't care if you work hard. Money cares if you work wise and when you work with spiritual attributes and muscles. If you want to make more money, we have to operate with spiritual gifts. And this is where the four levels of money and value come in. And that can really give somebody clarity on, okay, I get what you're saying, Israel, but what can I do to make more money? That's where the four levels of money come in.
What are those four levels?
So the lowest level of money is the level of implementation. It's when people use their hands and feet, when they try to use their energy, their effort to make money. This is where we have, people that are mechanics, people that work at construction companies, not the owner, but the people that actually do the construction work, maids at hotels. These are some of the hardest working people. Dishwashers at restaurants. They're using their physical effort to make money, but typically they're going to have a ceiling when it comes to making money. And that ceiling is typically capped at anywhere from 35,000 a year on the high end to maybe 40,000. That's the first level of money. But when it comes to making money, Travis, we don't want to have a ceiling. We want to have a foundation, right? We want to have a trampoline, right? So the second level of money is the level of unification. The level of unification, the word unification comes from the Hebrew word or the Greek word that means to unify, right? So this is where you have typically a manager at a corporate 500, corporate 100 company that is managing other implementers and they're unifying them with their gift. They're overseeing something. This is where this individual at that level, second level of money will probably be making anywhere from 50,000 to 75,000 upwards to $250,000, depending on where they work at. But that's typically the ceiling. And again, when it comes to making money, Travis, we don't want to have a ceiling. We want to have a floor. We want to have a trampoline.
Got it. And then what are the last two levels?
So the third level is really where I love to empower people with, and that's the level of communication. This is when you use your mouth to make money. This is when you speak to make money. This is where we have lawyers. What do they get paid for? They get paid to represent and speak on behalf of their clients. They get paid a lot of money. This is where we have actors. I was just talking to one of my good friends. He's an actor, been in over 90 films. Not going to share his name because of confidentiality purposes. But what he makes just acting, or once a movie comes out, just by the percentages, is more than what most people make in a year to 2 or 3, 4, 5 years. Why? Because they're using a spiritual gift, which is now speaking to earn monetization, to earn money.
Is this
This is
also
where
where
you
you would
have
put, this is also where you'd put like marketers or salespeople?
100%. I would put salespeople in this area. I would put LeBron James in this area. I would put Alex Rodriguez in this area. High paid sports professionals. They're not just getting played to play the sport or getting paid to play the sport. They're being paid because they're a brand and they have to speak. I have a couple NBA clients. They have to speak when they sign that contract. They're owned by that corporation, whatever the team is. Los Angeles Lakers, doesn't matter. They're a brand. And if they don't speak, there's typically penalties. So they're using their gift to play the sport, but they're really a brand. And I love helping people transition from just earning money by what they do physically to now operating with their spiritual gifts, which is using their voice to have a victory with finances.
And then the last level.
The highest level is the most simplest one, but it's typically when people hear it, they're like, really? It's your mind. It's when you use your mind and your money to make money. It's when you use your ideas, right? And create ideas, create solutions, and launch them into the marketplace. That's the highest level of money. This is where you have the Jeff Bezos, right? Could be you, whatever idea you have. That's where it begins.
Yeah. So the entrepreneur, essentially, the person who's in the ownership quadrant of Robert
The
Kiyosaki's.
entrepreneurs, investors, people that use their money to make money or create ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So where do you typically get people to start thinking if if you're listening right now and they're, making 40, they're making 70, they're making somewhere under 100,000 a year and they want to increase to that six-figure level or beyond? Is this a case by case basis? Should people look at one of these categories in particular? Should they think about moving from where you are to one step up and then one step up? Or can you move from this level to level 4 immediately? What's your typical advice for somebody looking to make more money?
Well, what I would love to teach on to answer the question is the law of what we call acceleration. And the law of acceleration teaches the following. There's only really three ways of making money. And the first way you can make money is by what you do by yourself, like the energy that you put into making your money. So that's one area.
Like dollars per hour.
Dollars per hours or even self-employed businesses, right?
Sure.
Like what you're doing to make money, right? Which is cool. The different, by the way, I'll give this distinction because I have many 8, 9, and 10 figure earners in my network. And the common denominator between people that are over 8 figures is that the majority of their money is not being made with number one.
Yeah.
It's being made with number 2 and 3, which number 2 is where other people make you money. Okay. And then number 3 is when your money makes you money. So what do I mean by other people making you money? This is what we call investing, collaboration, partnership. This is when you have, like, for example, right? As an investor, I'm an impact investor as well. I invest in impact projects, but also for an ROI. So we have like a quote that we say, ROI is not only return on investment, but it's return on impact. Because sometimes I'll invest in something that I will never see a return on until 15, 20 years, but I know it's in alignment to my values and I want to support that vision, if you will. The key is, though, it doesn't matter if you're stuck between 40 and 70,000, you could still earmark some of your income to start to look for ways that you can generate what people call passive income, but there's really no such thing as passive income. It's really number two and number three. It's when you have other people out there that you've maybe invested in, partnered with. Maybe it's not even with money. Maybe it's your intellectual property, your knowledge that you've allowed for them to access, and then you get a percentage back. But really starting to take the time of how can we create extra streams of revenue that are detached from times for hours,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And our energy. That's really the biggest shift.
When you're working with folks, is there a particular mindset that you have noticed that exists for people who live in abundance versus people who live in scarcity?
100%. People that live in abundance are always givers of givers. But we give to people that we know can steward what we're giving them. Like we don't like to give to people that we know they just take. We like to give to winners.
Yeah.
And like one of the strategies, I don't want to go too deep on the tech side, but one of the strategies that we also empower the people we work with is making sure that you have the right systems in place, like as you're generating money to also then reinvest in causes that you love. So maybe that's creating your foundation. Maybe that's donating or helping your other friend that has a foundation, right? And this is how it works at the higher levels.
Where's the best place to go that you found to meet other people who are interested in doing these things, to get out of your environment of a bunch of other people who maybe don't have similar goals or aspirations that you have? Where's the best place to go meet these other people?
It's a great question. People with like-minded beliefs congregate in the same place, looking for business conferences, seminars, meetups. I mean, that's really where you want to start. It's very rare to find something just off the whim. So typically, if there's something that's working, it's working and you'll hear about it. We have a high-level mastermind as well that we help congregate a lot of people with the same mindset, helping them win and win bigger, because that's the easier thing, taking somebody that's already winning and helping them win bigger versus helping taking somebody that's at zero, because there's a lot of mindset things that need to be adjusted. But as long as that person's coachable, that's at zero, and they're open to be like, okay, I'm open to renew my mind to principles like laws that work, then it becomes easier. But if that person is resistant to learn, it's very hard to help that person.
Tell me about the biggest financial risk that you ever taken. What was it and why did you do it?
Spent over $350,000 with a coach, a mentor. It was the biggest that I've invested thus far in a one lump sum. I've invested more throughout my business,
Sure.
but just in a one lump sum, it's been the biggest. And the reason why I made the investment is because I'm a big believer in saving time. Like my dad, who's his name is Domingo Duran. My dad had back in 1993, my dad had a massive heart attack. He went to the ER, waited 3.5 hours, didn't attend him for whatever reason, Travis. He went back home, and when he went back home, he had the heart attack and he died alone. My mom found him in that condition. I was about 3 months when my dad died. And so growing up, I grew up with a lot of voids in my life. And one of the things I always thought of is like, if I can go back and talk to my dad, if I can go back and have that conversation, I would pay anything, any amount. But I can't go back obviously. So what do I do now? Well, what can I do now to be in the lives of my children, my family, my wife? And it's really buying back my time. So if I can learn from someone that has already done what I want to do and can help me to save time, sign me up for that program.
Mm, yeah. Where do people miss the mark when it comes to investing in coaching? I guess the context behind the question is that in the last 15 years, really, there's been a massive uptick in the sheer volume of just gurus, people who coaches, consultants, people who give advice for a living. And with that, there's been the rise of a bunch of scam artists, and not just scam artists that are doing it purposefully and intentionally and are actually just bad people, maybe even sociopathic people, but people who are kind of doing it unintentionally, I guess, just through incompetence or ignorance. Like they believe that they can do this thing, but then people pay them for it, and then their people get no results because they're actually not qualified to do that thing. And tell me your philosophy on that space. Like where should people, like, are there different filters that you run through before you drop a large sum of money with a coach or a mentor or a mastermind or something like that? How do you think about making those investments?
Well, the beautiful thing about the time we live in, Travis, is that the more people there are on Earth, the more noise there is, but the less authority or few authorities come out to bat, if you will. Like the more noise they are, more people, especially with AI, by the way, AI is going to change this. So for some people, it's going to be a disaster. But for like people like us that really care and really are authorities in what we teach and what we're called to teach people with, it's going to be a greatest opportunity, especially with speaking, because everyone's funnel is going to be perfect. Everybody's marketing is going to be perfect. What's going to stand people out is their empathy, their influence, their ability to connect with people, their ability to get people results. And so, in my personal opinion, like the fakes are about to be exposed.
Hmm.
And this is why I love doing live events, by the way, Travis, because nobody does it. Nobody wants to do them anymore. Like a lot of people in the industry are like, we're not going to do any more live events because it's becoming costly. For us, we're like doubling down on live events because live events are so amazing. We bring people together, we empower them, we serve them, we teach them laws, principles like the law of gravity, but we teach them different laws that apply to business and growth and money making. That it doesn't matter who it is. Like if they apply it, they're going to get the results. And few people are doing it. But as we're doing it, it really helps us to be set apart and to really build that value in the ecosystem. So for me, like just stay tuned is what I would say to people because the fakes, people that aren't real, they're going to start diminishing by themselves because there's a lot of noise being created. And again, AI is going to literally level the playing field and it's going to really expose the true and the false.
Let's talk about that a little bit more then. What's one common myth that you see just kind of circulating around the internet regarding business, making money, speaking, the things that you're really good at? What's a myth that you
Mm.
see circulating around that you're like, man, I would really like to nip that one in the bud?
You're ready for more. Just go after more sales. You got to spend more money on marketing. You got to just go for more, 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 more. Not everybody's ready for more. I teach a great principle. It's called the law of the leak. This is the principle of the leak. Really quickly, to really bypass this because of time's sake, imagine someone that's in front of an ocean. In this ocean, I want to call it the ocean of abundance. In this ocean, there's more money, more opportunity, more stages, more growth. Everything that they want is in this ocean. And about 100 feet from the ocean, there's a table. And on this table, there's different size containers. And every container that's on that table, they all have a hole inside of them or a leak. And on the side of that table, there's this huge funnel. It's like a bucket that represents what someone's able to keep as long as they transfer the water from the ocean into this funnel. And the capacity of this funnel, by the way, Travis, is infinity and beyond, meaning they could literally fill the whole ocean and it still won't, there's still so much room left. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine somebody in front of that table, they grab a container and they run down to the beach, about 100 feet, and they go to the water and they go to pick up more water. And as they pick up more water, they walk back towards the table and they're going to transfer the water that they think's inside of the container into their funnel. What are they going to find?
Nothing
Nothing. Why?
because of the leaks in the funnel.
So people are living like that right now, Travis. And people, they see an ad, just go for more. You just need more. So what do? They throw away the container. Oh, this doesn't work. They go for the next shiny container. They grab it and they go back down to the water to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And they find out the same thing. Wait a second, my container's leaking. What's the moral of the story? To every business, to every individual, to every organization, they all have a leak. They all have a hole. They all have a blind spot. And this blind spot, this leak, this hole is typically the linchpin. It's like the Hoover Dam that's holding all the growth back. Like once that leak, once that linchpin is identified, it literally uncovers massive growth. So before you go for more, because everybody's telling you just go for more, just get more sales, more this. Before you go for more, it is super important for you to first cover your holes and cover your leak. I'm for more, but as you're going for more, make sure you cover your holes so you can do it simultaneously, so you can keep more of what you make.
Yeah, no, I love it. I use that example actually, almost exactly that example. I call it the leaky bucket. Is this like if you turn it on traffic and you're turning on growth, but your bucket's full of holes, it's never going to get full. You gotta always have that faucet on in order for the bucket to keep having more water, because as soon as you turn that faucet off, all the water is going to drain out of the bucket. So like, let's patch some of those holes up first. Then we turn on the bucket. And then what happens? It starts overflowing. and then you can use that overflow to start picking up another bucket. And then what I like what you said though about like people throw that funnel away and go get a new one. That describes most business owners who can't scale past a certain level. That describes what they do. It's just like, well, let's try a new vehicle. Let's open up a new income stream. Let's start a new business idea, or it's usually not because you're in the wrong opportunity. It's usually because you're not doing the work that's required to patch up the holes in the bucket. And if you throw this one away for another one, you're going to get the same leaky bucket that you had on
Come
the,
on
on the
now.
first one, unless you
That's
learn how to
it.
patch the holes.
That's it. Brilliant.
What's a I guess if you were going to start over today, like you lost everything today, what would be a business idea or a pursuit that you think could be worthy of your time and attention?
The best investment since day zero of this earth and until eternity is people. I've built my brand and business investing in people. If I were to start all over again, I would invest in people. Now, how would I invest in people? I would coach, develop, and train them. And I would probably pick the niche of AI, okay, AI, or in this season, or speaking as well, what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
But just the AI, and we're actually doing a lot with AI right now too. We're developing a lot. Um, but I'm so thankful for AI in part because when I say it's going to literally level the playing field, it's going to literally level this whole thing out, Travis. In a couple years, it's going to be few people doing what we do on the speaking and coaching side because everybody else will be exposed. Everybody, all the knowledge will be out there. So what will separate you apart is your empathy, your level of influence, your level of care, your level of nurturing, your level of communication, how you connect with other human beings, and simply showing that you care. And
Yeah.
few people have that, unfortunately, in this space.
And the results that you get for people, like the actual effectiveness of the product or service that you offer to the marketplace, is what's going to allow people to win.
That's it. But it's even more, Travis. It's I learned this with one of my billionaire friends, someone that has done over $3 billion in sales. The distinction that I got from him was this. It's not about just selling products and services. Like if you want to make 6 to 7 figures, maybe even high seven, you could do products and services. But if you want to grow an 8, 9, 10 figure empire, the difference is selling vision. Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And because it's not just about what can I sell, it's about how can I help, how can I help other people, their quality of their life improve and whatever industry, whatever angle I'm serving in, right?
Sure. Yeah, I love it, man. This has been a great conversation, Israel. Appreciate you for taking the time to join me. Let's move into the last segment here presented by Go High Level. If you are a business owner looking for a CRM and marketing platform, all-in-one software solution, I highly recommend checking out High Level and some of the services and products that they have to offer. You can go to gohighlevel.com/Travis. Let's move into this last segment here, bro. We'll get you out of here. Sound good?
Sounds good.
What profession other than your own do you think that it would have been fun to master?
I always wanted to be a professional baseball player.
If
That's what
you
I
could
wanted to do, bro.
I mean,
I,
hey, you and a lot of young men across the nation, that's for sure. If
yeah,
you could sit on a park bench with someone, past or present, and chat for an hour, who'd it be?
it would be Dr. Miles Monroe. One of my mentors passed in 2014, and it would be him.
How do you like to learn best? Books, audiobooks, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos?
I'm a visual guy, but I love reading books and I love looking at videos that teach as well.
What's a good book you'd recommend?
The only book that I recommend the best book for business is the Bible.
What is your go-to pump-up song?
Good question. I'm an instrumental guy, man. It's gonna be weird. I love like saxophone, jazz. Um, you know, that's the type of music
Yeah.
that I listen to.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What is something that you're not very good at?
I'm not very good at graphic designing. I was just talking to one of my guys on that today. I was like, look, bro, this is what I see. Like I'm a visionary. I don't know how to do it, but this is what I see. He's like, no, don't worry, I got it. And then he goes and does it. I'm like, that's exactly what I saw. I can't do the thing. Right.
As we get everything wrapped up here, my man, where can people go to get more from you?
You know, Travis, I wanted to give somebody a gift, and I don't give gifts unless they're worth paying for. So this is actually something that we charge for. But for your audience, I want to go ahead and give it to them at no cost. If they find me on Instagram, they type Israel Duran or go to my website, israelduran.com, and then click on my Instagram button. It will take them right there. They just have to direct message me the word Travis makes money or the phrase, all one word, Travis makes money. And I'll send them over our online business blueprint and an assessment that they can go through to truly identify their leaks so they can grow.
IsraelDuran.com, Duran, IsraelDuran.com, or at Israel Duran over on Instagram. Go check out some of the stuff that he's putting out over there. Bro, thanks so much time. Thanks so much for your time to do this. I know you got a bunch of demands on your time, so thanks for taking some of it and sharing some wisdom with us and the audience. Everybody else listening, remember, money only solves your money problems, but it's a little bit easier to solve the rest of your problems if you got some money in the bank. So let's solve that problem first here on the Travis Makes Money podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.